Greetings and good day, everybody. Welcome back to our course Readings in Philippine History. And we are still in our chapter 2, which is all about the content and contextual analysis of selected primary sources in the Philippine history. So we're done with our first primary source nga ato ang na-discuss, which was about the voyage of Magellan that was written by Antonio Pigafetta. And our next discussion, so for anything else, this will be our learning objectives. I already presented this during our discussion sa Expedition of Magellan. So what we will discuss? We will be discussing the KKK and the Kartilya ng Katipunan. So this KKK, it is one of the primary sources nga ato ang ma-encounter sa ato ang chapter 2. So this is considered as well as one of the most important primary sources nga ato ang i-rely. So our first discussion will be on the KKK or the kataas-taasan, kagalang-galangang katipunan ng mga anak ng bayan. So what is KKK? KKK moto akong giingon nga it is ikataas-taasan, kagalang-galangang katipunan ng mga anak ng bayan or katipunan. Okay? So, unsay naaani nga KKK? So, KKK or Kartilya ng Katipunan is arguably the most important organization formed in the Philippine history. Ang Katipunan daw is the important group that was created in the history of the Philippines. And maupod ni ang nagdala sa atua nga nganong naatay freedom from Spanish. Okay? Next is that there are two principal aims of the KKK as gathered from the writings of Bonifacio. First is dapat na ay unity of the Filipino people and separation from Spain by means of revolution. So pinakauna it talks about the unity of the Filipino people. So unity of the whole Filipino nation. And if dili magka-unity or walay dili sila united, then dili tas successful against Spaniards. Okay? And we have to be united as a nation, dili kay kanya-kanya ta, because unity is the key towards independence. Maunang, isa sa aims sa KKK is the unity of the whole Filipino nation. Pa? Kung sa una wala sila'y pagkakaisa or wala sila'y unity, dili ta successful against Spaniards. Next is the separation from Spain by means of revolution. So tayo ay malaya under Castilla and na makuha nato ang mga total of independence from Spain. That is why we really need separation from Spain by means of revolution para makuha nato ang total independence from Spain. Kaya kung if we are not going to separate from Spain, of course, under Spain gihapon ta. That is why ang last nga aim sa KKK nga kuan ni Bonifacio is ma-separate sa Spain by means of revolution. Next is that previous armed revolts had already occurred before the foundation of the Katipunan, but none of them envisioned a unified Filipino nation revolting against the colonizer. So, sa una, daghay mga revolution, daghay wars, daghay magsikan ang nahitabo before the Katipunan. Pero none of them, wala nila gi-envision ang magka-unified ang mga Filipino nation revolting against the colonizer. Wala lang, naghimagsikan lang sila with their personal gain, pero wala nila na-envision a unified Filipino nation revolting against colonizer. And like for example, si Diego Silang was known as an Ilocano who took up his arms, led one of the longest running revolts in the country. So si Diego Silang was an nga Ilocano, nag-revolution po siya pero nag-focus lang sa independence of Ilocos region, not on the entire Philippines. That means, before pa ang Katipunan, ang ubang himagsikan or revolution were focused on regional level lang sila ni focus. Kung ahas sila nagpuyo, maulang sabang ilang focus, dili ang entire Philippines. Just like kang Diego silang, nag-focus lang siya sa independence of Ilocos kay taga-Dinhaa man siya. So, while ang Katipunan, gi-invention niya ang welfare for the whole Philippines, dili lang kay for regional level lang. And then, his locality referred to him as El Rey de Ilocos or the King of Ilocos. That's why gitawag siya as the King of Ilocos kay he envisioned nga maging malaya ang ilahang region or ilahang tribe or mga kauban niya sa Ilocos region kay he was identified as the Ilocos region, not on the entire Philippines. That's why sa una ang ilahang mga revolutions or mga himagsikan is more focused on a regional level. Dili pariha aning Katipunan nga nag-invention sila for the whole nation sa Philippines, for the whole um, for the entire Philippines. Okay? Then the propaganda movements led by the Ilustrados like Marcelo H. del Pilar, Garciano Lopez Haina, and Jose Rizal did not envision a total separation of the Philippines from Spain, but they demanded, but only demanded equal rights, representation, and protection from the abuses of the prior. So what is this propaganda movement? No, saan yung propaganda movement nga gilad sa mga ilustrados nga si Del Pilar, Haina, and Jose Rizal? So ang propaganda movement, this was a group that was made by ilustrados na kanisla Del Pilar, Lopez Haina, and Jose Rizal na nakaskwela o Filipino or mga naikakayanhan to spend in education, di ba? And kani nga mga ilustrados, wala nila ginusto nga ma-separate ta sa Spain pero they are demanded an equal rights, representation, and protection from the abuses of priors. Kay every time ang mga priors mga abuso o mga Pilipino sa una, they exercise a political power during that time. Mao na siya, mao nang isa silahang demand nga protection from the abuses of the priors. Equal rights as well as the representation. In the conduct of their struggle, ang Katipunan created a complex structure and defined value system that will guide the organization as a collective aspiring for a single goal. So naghimo sila og value system. Again, ang Katipunan daw created a complex structure and defined as a value system. So naghimo sila og value system, and take note that this value system it will guide the organization as a collective aspiring for a single goal. So it is important kay it introduces who aspire to be part of this revolutionary organization, and it also encourage sa mga tao nga dili pa part ani nga organization nga mahimo silang part ani nga organization. Marag na encouragement sa mga tao nga dili pa involved ani nga organization nga to join with this organization. Siya. And what was the most important document of the Katipunan? Unsa kaha ang pinaka-importante nga document sa Katipunan? It was the Kartilya ng Katipunan, or the original title of the document was Mga Aral ng Katipunan ng Mga Anak ng Bayan, or in English translation, it is Lessons of the Organization of the Sons of Country. And of course, this document was written by Emilio Jacinto in 1896. So, Emilio Jacinto was only 18 years old. Oh, imagine, bata kayo. When he joined the movement. And he was a law student at the Universidad de Santo Tomas. And Jacinto was very uh, young when he wrote the Kartilya ng Katipunan. Bata pa po siya namatay. No? 24 years old siya namatay. And what's the best thing about his early age or sa iyahang kabata? He was not thinking, no? He was not thinking about himself lang, but he was thinking about the welfare of his fellow men. And his principle in life was very clear to him. Kabalo na jud siya kung unsa iyahang prinsipyo sa kinabuhi. Clear na kaayo sa iyaha. Nga dili lang ni it's for personal gain but for the beneficial for everybody. Next is that Bonifacio was recognized the value and intellect of Jacinto that upon seeing that Jacinto's Cartilla was much better than the Decalogue he wrote, Bonifacio willingly favored that the Cartilla be distributed to their fellow Katipuneros. So si Andres Bonifacio, naa siya gibuhat nga Decalogue pod, and when he saw and read the Cartilla ng Katipunan ni Jacinto, na-amaze siya kay mo lagi to, nindot daw. And na-praise po niya si Jacinto nga bright kayo si Jacinto ato. Imagine, Jacinto, just 18 years old, ni apil na ato nga organization in a very young age. In fact, mas pinabura ni Bonifacio ang gihimo na kartilya ni Jacinto, and very humble kaayo si Bonifacio here and there because Bonifacio willingly favored that the cartilya be distributed to their fellow Katipuneros. Before, na ay mga documents ang mga katipunan nga naa sila gipang distribute sa mga katipuneros, and the purpose ato kay to inspire ang mga katipuneros, and dapat nakatago to kay kung makita to sa mga gwardiya civil, for sure patyon ka or dakpon ka or sa nga consequence. So dapat nakatago lang, and ang katong nga kuan ha, ang katong piece, and imagine nga it's a piece of paper lang pero that's very important sa ila kay mauna ang ilahang basihan and mauna ilahang value system nga mauna ilahang gituuhan as a katipunero kay that piece of paper nga naa dito ang value system nila is sacred para sa ilaha. Next, Jacinto became the secretary of the secretary of the organization and took charge of the short-lived printing press of the Katipunan. So Jacinto daw took charge in the printing press. Yeah, ang nag-took charge or in charge. On April 15, 1897, Bonifacio appointed Jacinto as the commander of the Katipunan in northern Luzon. Jacinto was 22 years old and died of malaria at a young age of 24 in the town of Magdalena, Laguna. So nahimong commander si Jacinto, nga gi-appoint siya ni Bonifacio as a commander. That's why gitawag si Emilio as a General Emilio Jacinto, and was 22 years old pa siya. Imagine, 22 years old tapos namatay ra siya after 2 years because of malaria. So let's get to know Emilio Jacinto was born on December 15, 1875, died on April 16, 1899. Utak ng Katipunan, member siya ani. His wife was Catalina de Jesus. He was born at Tondo, Manila. His father was Mariano Jacinto and her mother was Josefa Dizon. He attended San Juan de Latran College and later transferred to the University of Santo Tomas to study law. And Andres Bonifacio, born on November 30, 1863 at Tondo, Manila. Died on May 10, 1897, and he wrote The Pag-ibig sa Tinubuang Lupa. No, mao na ang masterpiece ni Andres Bonifacio. Bonifacio and other officially founded the Katipunan. He was known as the Ama ng Himagsikang Pilipino or Ama ng Katipunan. So the Kartilya can be treated as the Katipunan's code of conduct. So just like a teacher, nursing, na sila mga code of professional conduct. So parihara po sa Kartilya ng Katipunan, na po sila code of conduct nga nag-contain siya of 14 rules that instruct the way a katipunero should behave and which specific values should be upheld. So It's a code of conduct on how a Katipunero behave and to be able to abide by the Katipunero. So the rules or code of conduct stated in the Kartilya can be classified into two. The first group, so first 1 to 7, it contains the rules that will make the member an upright individual. So if you follow this criteria, you will become an upright individual. That means it talks about your character development. No, ano na siya. Next, second group is 8 to 14, contains the rules that will guide the way he treats his fellow men. It's more how you treat your fellow human being as a katupanero. So let's start with the first Kartilya. So I will go to the explanation ano. Kamo na libasa ni what's the uh, Kartilya talks about. So I'll go with the explanation. So akong explanation was made by PDF Coffee. So for this rule in Kartilya, the first rule highlights the importance of living a purpose-driven life. No? Because a katipunero who does not have a purpose lives a useless life. Mo na pasabot sa pinakauna. Ikaduha, it talks about the goodness for goodness sake na siya. And the second rule is all about doing the right thing. A deed carried out for the sake of fame is not worthy or praise. So, mo yun ang dapat, goodness for goodness sake. Third is it shows what kindness really means, that the true act of kindness for a Katipunero is in the love and service he rendered to the people and not to the other way around. Fourth is it highlights equality. So every Katipuneros are treated equally, no matter what race or educational background he has, no? Equally treated. Fifth, it shows what honor should mean for a Katipunero. A true Katipunero daw values honor more than his personal interests. Siya. Next, sixth is all about being a man of word. Because a Katipunero who has a sense of shame must be a man of his word. Mga na ang pasabot. Dapat kabaluta sa tuang mga word nga gipang istorya. Next, 7, it gives importance to time because a Katipunero must give importance to time. For the Katipunan, a time that is lost will never be back, no? Will never recover. Ana siya. Next, 8 is all about fighting for what is right because a Katipunero must protect the weak and fight those who oppress the weak. Siya. Next, it highlights the importance of trust, and Katipunero is careful with what he says, and Katipunero keeps the things that must be kept secrets. Natin mga confidentiality din hiya. 10th is all about being able to lead a family. Ang Katipunero daw must lead his family to the right path. Because if a leader is consumed by evil, so does his follower. Mo jud ba yan? No? Kung unsa ang ipakita sa to ang leader, kung wrong na siya, mo pa'y buhaton sa mga followers. So dapat must lead his family to the right path. Next is all about women. A Katipunero must give importance to a woman. He must not see her as an object or not a pastime or play thing lang, no? And that whenever a Katipunero sees a woman, he will remember his mother who nurtured him. Siya. 12, it gives importance to the actions that one has to make because a Katipunero must not to do things that he does not want to be done to him or to his family. Siya. Ayaw na buhata kung dili na buhaton sa imuha. Second to the last is about having the right character. Because a Katipunero's life is not measured by what is his status in life, nor with the things that he possesses. Instead, it is in his character and his love for the native land. And lastly, the last Kartilya or rule, it shows a glimpse of what the author desire, and it shows the sense of hopefulness for the motherland, and that all the sacrifices made is not for naught, okay, for nothing. So, as the primary governing document which determines the rules of the conduct in the Katipunan, properly understanding the Kartilya will thus help in understanding the values, ideals, aspirations, and even the ideology of the organization. So, if we understand the Kartilya, we understand values, ideals, aspiration, and even the ideology of the organization. How to love our country, how to behave, how to be a good person. That's why it's really wonderful or very nice to read and understand the 14 rules in Kartilya. And lastly, and while we have different interpretation with what was intended by Bonifacio, there is one thing that everyone can agree on, that ang Kartilya ng Katipunan was meant to guide us in living our everyday life. It's to the fullest. More importantly, it highlights the importance of having the right attitude towards other people. So that is our discussion about the KKK and the Kartilya ng Katipunan. Thank you so much for watching our video, and I hope that you learned something new in watching this video. Thank you and have a great day.